So we need to talk about misinformation. But today, we're going to look at it through a really unique lens. Not a tech CEO, but a religious text that's over 1,400 years old. Let's see what it has to teach us about our modern world.
You know the feeling, right? You're scrolling through your feed and it's just this constant flood of headlines, memes, videos. And honestly, it's exhausting trying to figure out what's real and what's totally fake. But here's the wild part. This isn't some new problem that the internet cooked up. Nope. The challenge of spotting lies and the danger of spreading them, people were tackling this exact issue in detail more than 14 centuries ago.
Okay, but first, let's start with where we are right now. The source material for this piece calls it a modern plague of hoaxes. And that's not an exaggeration. This is way more than just a small annoyance.
So let's break this down. A modern hoax isn't just a mistake, it's designed specifically to hide the truth. And that is incredibly dangerous, especially in diverse communities. The fuel for this fire? Well, it's the social media platforms we use every day, where sharing is instant and we kind of forget the basic ethics of communication, like maybe checking if something's true first. All right, now let's rewind the clock. Way back. Long before Twitter threads or viral videos, a super clear warning about this very problem was recorded in 7th century Arabia.
And here it is. This is the core instruction from the Quran about how to handle information. And it's not just a friendly suggestion, it's a direct command. Investigate. And the why is so important, because if you don't, you could end up harming people based on bad info and be left with some serious regret.
So this one verse, it actually establishes a huge ethical principle for how to deal with information. It's such a big deal, in fact, that it has its own name. That name is tabayyun. You can think of it as the duty to verify, to check, to clarify information before you even think about sharing it. It's basically a mandatory pause button between seeing something and hitting that share button. It's not just a good idea, it's considered an obligation. So who is this disobedient one the verse warns us about? The Arabic term is fasiq. Now what's interesting is this doesn't necessarily mean a non-believer. It can refer to someone whose actions don't quite match their beliefs, making them a potentially unreliable source. In today's terms, it's a powerful reminder to really scrutinize any source that hasn't proven itself to be credible. And get this, the blame doesn't just fall on the person who made up the lie in the first place. Islamic scripture is really clear on this. Anyone who helps that lie travel, anyone who shares it and gives it more reach, they share in the responsibility. You're held accountable for hitting share. So we have this ancient principle, right? But what does it actually look like when you put it into practice? Well, you might be surprised to see how this old wisdom created a verification system that looks a lot like our best tools today. Okay, this is just fascinating. On the left, you've got the system scholars developed centuries ago to verify the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, known as hadith. They demanded an unbroken chain of people who passed the story down, and every single person in that chain had to be known as credible, moral, and having a great memory. Now, look at the right. Modern fact-checking is almost the exact same thing. Check the source, check the author's credibility, and find supporting evidence. It's the same idea, just separated by centuries. So how can we actually practice to buy in our own lives? It's really just a simple mental checklist before we share anything. You just have to ask yourself, what's the source here? Did I actually read past the headline? Who wrote this and are they an expert? Are there any facts to back this up? Is this info even recent? And maybe the most important one, are my own biases making me want this to be true? And hey, if you're still not sure after all that, the final step is easy. Just ask someone who knows. This whole process is the modern way of practicing a truly ancient principle. So this ancient fight for truth? Well, now it has a new ally, modern technology. The tools are totally different, but the mission is exactly the same. Today, computer scientists are literally building AI systems to do what those scholars and journalists have been doing for ages, but at a massive scale. AI can check claims against huge databases of facts. It can analyze the writing style to see if it's manipulative. It can track how propaganda spreads, and it can even analyze the credibility of a source. So whether we're talking about a 7th century scholar carefully checking a chain of people, or a 21st century algorithm scanning millions of posts a second, the fundamental goal has never changed. It's always been about one thing: protecting our communities from the damage that lies and ignorance can cause. And that brings us right back to today. We started with a warning from over 1,000 years ago, and we've ended up at artificial intelligence. Now that AI can create fakes that are more convincing than ever, that ancient principle of tabayyun, that personal responsibility to verify, is more important than it's ever been. So I'll just leave you with this to think about.
In this new world, what does that responsibility to verify really mean to you? Thanks for tuning in.